Hello again, it's In The Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral, or as the kids are calling it, ITK, ahead of the DRF. No one's calling it that, and there's no kids watching. Anyway, my name is Ross Brierley. Are you ready for a big weekend? It's a capital city weekend, unless you're Welsh, of course. We've got 2 days at Leopardstown, of course. For the purposes of this intro, Sandown is very much in London. And, of course, Musselburgh with a big weekend as well on the outskirts of Edinburgh. So what have you got? We're going to be covering a bit from all three. But mainly, I imagine the punters at home will be looking at Saturday and Sunday at Leopardstown as the Irish jump season explodes into view and the cards get shuffled and we see which one, which two, which three, which four, which five, which six, which seven of Mullins' horses potentially win this weekend are the real deal. And then we start with the debates ahead of Cheltenham, of course. But yeah, exciting stuff. It's a proper National Hunt weekend for sure. We are live and interactive, so get in touch on the chat. Hello to Saints, to Paul Stokes, to Loch Ranza, to Daniel Valentine, to Tom Leach, to Doghouse Riley, to Paul Summerfield, and to our Watchwater, who says Mullins might have a good weekend, should get a winner or two. I'll bear that one in mind. Again, let us know what your naps are in capital letters in the chat. We'll try and get as many in as possible. For the second week running, what's an absolute treat to be joined by the man himself, the anti-postman, who I'm sure, again, has got some nice tickets, which is actually, Robbie Wilder's, that's not the best intro for you, actually, because I'm basically setting you up to say, I back this horse at a bigger price, which nobody likes, do they?
No one likes to show off, do they? But when you're the anti-postman, that is the position you can find yourself in.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, a couple of nice positions. I know you've got a couple of nice positions we were chatting earlier. That's more looking further ahead at Cheltenham. But we want to see horses that we've backed run well this weekend, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. It's this is when it all kicks off. Especially, I mean, again, we talk about it being Cheltenham for the whole National Hunt season. Since the Dublin Racing Festival's really taken hold, is there an argument that over in Ireland it's
the big one?
It's the
do you reckon it's better than Punchestown now?
I think it probably is, isn't it? I mean, Punchestown's a different beast entirely. I think, especially for you got 5 days. It's a really relaxed atmosphere, but top quality racing. It's more like a, I don't know. It's like a proper Irish festival. You Galways at this world.
That's true. Yeah, you got that race that you have to be like a farmer or something to have a runner, and it's like the winner gets about 400 quid or something. You got a lot of dead wood there.
But there's something for everyone, isn't there?
Something for everyone there. There's something for pure racing fans here. Every race is interesting. And I am very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is when everyone's opinions get properly pitted against each other for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're going to see an awful lot of sort of ramifications for the rest of the season. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm looking forward to finding them out.
Absolutely. We're going to try and answer some of them on tonight's show. Tom Segal at home, as ever. Big weekend ahead, although very much like a Russian election, Tom. In theory, plenty of people can win, but really it's about one man, isn't it?
Well, that's what it was last year, and that's what it's going to be this year, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Gordon Elliott doesn't want to play ball, does he? So Henry de Bromhead's horses are running a bit like Reading's football team, and so, there's not much competition, is there? I mean, he's even got the, 15-8 favourite for a 27-runner handicap, hasn't he? So good luck, all those trying to bet there. I mean, I don't think it's a great betting meeting, if truth be told, because there's a bit of guesswork, isn't it? It's all these horses that have run. I mean, this year I think that the Mullins Novices are a little bit, you just don't know where you are with them. I don't think he's won a Grade 1 novice hurdle, has he? I don't know, he might have. But they're all sort of maiden winners, all coming in to run at this meeting. The Arkle has got Madgeborough. He's won one race over fences. You're guessing a bit. I doubt he knows which is the best one in some of the novice hurdles. He didn't know that last year or a couple of years ago when they're all the wrong ones were winning.
But that therein lies the rub, isn't it? Because I think at this point, part of the reason I think why Gordon isn't playing ball and a lot of people aren't playing ball is because, look, at the end of the day, Willie Mullins doesn't really care who his best one is, does it? So actually running them all, 5 weeks before Cheltenham at one of the best prep tracks for the spring festivals and pitching them all up against each other and finding out who's the best on the day, and then even if you find out who's the best, the horses finishing second and third are also going to improve because they've come up against the best. So as far as Willie's concerned, he's going to win all the races.
Willie. Everything's good for Willie. I mean, Willie's got the whole game stitched, isn't he? Not quite so sure it's good for punters because we don't have a clue. We're guessing. And if he doesn't know which one's the best, I certainly don't, and you certainly don't, and no one does. It's all a bit of a guessing game. But look, that's what these trial races are for. That's what they are, aren't they? That's why we go into them excited about them, as Robbie said, and I agree with him entirely, because we could see something very special. You know what I mean? We could see Ballyburn, or we could see Lossiemouth. We could see the next big thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's why everyone gets excited about it. As punting goes, it's quite tricky because it's Willie Mullins 7-4, and then it's Willie Mullins 5-1, Willie Mullins 12-1, and you just don't know which one to go for because you don't want to be on the 7-4 one because you think there's got to be, he doesn't really know himself, but he could be on the right. You know what I mean? It's just all confusing. So as far as punting goes, it's tricky. As far as watching, as the boys have said, I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, as far as punting goes, I think I'd rather be on either the 8-11s or the 14-1s. It's the ones in between where you can get into trouble. But
that's quite similar in lots of races. That with them pricing up races on Mondays now, it's often you don't want to be the ones in the middle because they're the ones that people have either backed or you know what I mean. They're the ones that aren't moving that much. You either want to be on the one that no one's looked at or the one that everyone's backed already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And these, like I said, there's a few of both those types coming up over the weekend. Simon Clare, rubbing your hands together with glee. What a sporting weekend we've got ahead of us.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? I mean, if you're a rugby fan, it's the start of the Six Nations. We've got France-Wales tonight, although that's very one-sided. You're betting that on the handicap. And then Ireland host England tomorrow alongside the racing, and then Scotland play Italy, and obviously you've got some great football. Arsenal, Man City on Sunday's a game I'll be paying close attention to. But obviously the main focus for all of us is the great racing over the 2 days, and there's some good stuff domestically at Sandown Musselburgh tomorrow. But obviously the quality's all over in Dublin. I think it'll be a constant theme. But I mean, Willie Mullins' greatest skill is to have all these great horses with all these different owners and keep them all happy. But to keep them all happy, you've got to run them in the races that they should be running in, and that's what he does, and that's why he's got. I mean, essentially, we've actually got a special. I might as well call out now: Willie Mullins to win all 4 Grade 1s on Saturday, and it's 5-4. When you look at the 4 Grade 1s, he's got the first 4 in the betting in the novice hurdle, 3 of the first 4 in the betting in the juvenile hurdle, the first 2 in the betting, and probably should win the Irish Arkle, and then the first 3 in the betting, and you expect to win the Irish Gold Cups. I mean, 5-4. It's not the craziest bet in the world, is it, just to back Willie Mullins to win all 4? Because he's looking highly likely to do just that.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think how that. What horse? How does that bet lose? I'm trying to work out what makes that bet lose.
With a shock somewhere, isn't it? With a shock somewhere. I think he's got. Yeah. I think in the juvenile hurdle as a Gavin Crowell horse, second favourite or third favourite. I think that's yeah. But apart from that, it's almost and obviously. There are other trained horses in those races, but it does mean that there's going to be a big shock. And so, I mean, we've seen with this meeting that whilst his favourites might not win, he often beats them with the second, third, fourth string, and that's really going to be part of the conversations when we talk through some of these races later. But I mean, look, I think in a perfect world, our Ladbrokes, our sister company, we want to call it, sponsors on Sunday and on the Novice Chase with Ballyburn in, and the Dublin Chase, which is a cracker actually, obviously with Gaelic Warrior and co. But you'd love to see a few different trainers, rather than all Willie Mullins. But I think from a betting point of view, you've just got to assume it doesn't really matter. Just decide which horse you think is going to win the race, because I think that they're all obviously trying for their lives, no question. So.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. There's not. I think you kind of that bet losing depends on either Hello Neighbour or Marine Nationale winning, possibly. That's about your lot. But anyway, not just Leopardstown, of course. Musselburgh and Sandown with cracking cards. Anything else at the top of the hour you want to bring in, Simon?
Yes, I want to talk about Pipped at the Post, our offer. This is the offer where if you have a bet on a Pipped at the Post race, we're playing Pipped at the Post on all ITV races tomorrow and on Sunday. If your horse is beaten a neck or less, you get paid as a winner. And actually, it copped 3 times last Saturday on Cheltenham Trials Day. Once at Cheltenham with that amazing ride of Sean Burns on Moon d'Orange, and the 21-shot Grandeur Dam was touched off in second. Now, there were still plenty of people who backed that. You get paid out up to a tenner of your bet. So that was people who backed that at SP were getting, or around 20 to 1 were getting 200 quid when they would have got nothing. Yellow Car beat Moon Rocket. That was the race, was the Stewards' Inquiry. A lot of people thought Moon Rocket should have got the race. He didn't in the Stewards' Inquiry. Well, backers with Coral did get paid out on Moon Rocket at 11-4 or whatever price they'd taken in the morning. And then Jatara beat Katira, the well-backed favourite, and so back because the Katira got paid out. So it's obviously the horse has to be beaten a neck or less, but we're paying on all ITV races on Saturday and Sunday. So I'll give that a plug.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll get stuck into the weekend's action in just a second. Okay, let's go then, shall we? Starting off on Saturday. We're not going to go through most of the stuff chronologically, but let's start off with the feature race tomorrow over at Leopardstown, the Irish Gold Cup. Grade 1 action here, 4-7 Galopin Des Champs. It's 130 Factor File, Embassy Gardens 9-1. Guess who those three horses are trained by? It is 10-1 Monty Star, and then a big jump out to 20-1. I know the way you're thinking, and Hewick, and then 50-1 Iron Maximus, Grange Clare West, and there's also Conflated and Manila Kakuna in here, and Galopin Des Champs going for a third consecutive win in this race to try and emulate Florida Pearl. B4 Salmon did win this 3 times as well, but he had a little break in between the second and the third, and it's another chance to see Galopin Des Champs versus Factor File here, Robbie Wilders. And it's another one of those races where, look, you're looking at it, there are 10 runners, but I went down the entire field and I thought, I can't see a world where one of the front two don't win.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, basically, it's Galopin Des Champs, Factor File, and then a load of 160 horses, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of these
not
are
even 160 horses.
Yeah, not in some cases. I mean, Monty Star isn't technically quite at that level yet. He is interesting. I think he's always promised potentially doing something better, but a lot of these are sort of looking towards the Grand National potentially. Galopin is, as we know, brilliant at Leopardstown. Arguably even better than at Cheltenham, really. I find it very difficult to see that form of Factor File being reversed. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Factor File after this they then came out and chucked him in the Ryanair chase down the line. We'll see. I'm going to sit it out from a better perspective. I think Galopin will win, but I'm hoping that Monty Star comes out and runs well because there are a few murmurs about the Bromhead stable form. And I'm quite keen on one of his on Sunday.
Yeah, that is. The slight concern. I think it's one winner from 30 or 40 runners, I think, in the past few weeks. So yeah, it would be nice for Monty Star to put up a big show. Of course, he does have to get past not only Factor File but also Embassy Gardens, who beat him last time out. Tom, Galopin 4-7, Factor File 100-30. It could well be that Mullins has the 1, 2, 3, and then also has a Gold Cup and a Ryanair winner in here, possibly somewhere, and even maybe a Grand National winner in here. We could be looking back at this race in a few months and saying that was a nice run for spring Grade 1s and big handicaps.
Well, it was last year, wasn't it? It was last year. I think Iron Maximus ran in this race, didn't he, last year? Listen, Galopin's going to win, isn't he? Simple as that. I think he's virtually unbeatable around Leopardstown. I think Factor File might get a little bit closer, but I think they're going to ride him to settle and get behind and sort of finish so that he goes so that they can see whether they've got a potential Gold Cup horse. I don't doubt they'll take on Galopin up front. I don't like Monty Star at all. I don't get Monty Star. Everyone keeps talking about Monty Star. I just don't see it. I mean, maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it anywhere that Monty Star's got any chance of being competitive in a proper Grade 1. I'm interested to see how I know the way your thinking runs, and Iron Maximus, because Iron Maximus, my God, if you watched him in the Savills chase, you wouldn't think he'd win, the kids' race at school, let alone the Grand National again. I mean, he didn't do anything right. Tailed off from a word go and walked through every single fence. So he's got to show something for if people are going to have any confidence in him winning another Grand National. I think I know your way you're thinking is still quite interesting as a horse. I just think one day he's going to win a really big one. Now he's already won a couple of pretty big ones, but a proper big one now. It might be a Grand National rather than a Gold Cup, or it might be an Irish National this year. But I still think there's absolutely tons left in the of potential with him. I think he's the one I'm most interested in watching going forward for the rest from this race. But I think it's literally Galopin's going to win, and Factor File will probably be second, but I'm not convinced.
I do think. I mean, it was pretty damn quick ground, wasn't it, at Leopardstown last time out? And I don't think Iron Maximus will have experienced anything like that before. So that also, I think there's a possibility that actually Grange Clare West pops around for third. I mean, I don't. The trip wasn't right at Punchestown. The ground wasn't right at Leopardstown, and he's a Grade 1 winner around here over course and distance on soft ground. So he could.
Yeah, he looked really good, didn't he? He looked really good last year when he won the Novice Chase, didn't he? I thought at the start of the season he was sort of the forgotten Mullins horse, but didn't really do anything, did he? The last twice, a little bit better last time, to be fair. So you might be right. Maybe he's the one. Maybe he's the one that could sort of change the sort of come from the clouds.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he'll get beaten 10 lengths into third, but you never know. Simon Clare, Galloping versus Fact to File. Which side do you want?
Well, actually, just thinking of Victor to one chance, wasn't it 3 years ago or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where you and Paul tipped up conflated at 50 to 1 and ended up winning at 18s the next day, didn't it? Anyway, I'm not sure this 50 to 1 chance is going to win. I mean, you've summed it up really well. I mean, Galloping Deschamps is obviously 4 to 7 tomorrow. He's 5 to 6 for the Gold Cup. But if you look at the Gold Cup betting, Fact to File is a 3 to 1 second favourite to Galloping Deschamps. If Galloping Deschamps wins and wins well, you can see Fact to File going for the Ryanair, for which he's 6 to 4 favourite, perhaps. So what price Galloping Deschamps, for the Gold Cup, if he was to win this and win as well as he's done the last 2 years, he could be very short. And that Gold Cup with Banbridge third favourite, could easily see him not going for the Gold Cup. Could end up coming up quite light. But we have got a special linked in a way to that. We're betting 7 to 2, Galloping Deschamps to win this race tomorrow by 4 lengths or more, and then win the Gold Cup. So you've got to then try and work out whether that represents good value or not. I found it quite a struggle, but I suppose he's got to win by 4 lengths, which he could easily do, and then go on and win the Gold Cup. 7 to 2, probably the double at the prices. The likely price would be tomorrow if he wins for the Gold Cup would be about sort of 6 to 4. I don't know. If you fancy him to win well and win the Gold Cup, he's 7 to 2. That's all I can say.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, his Leopardstown record over fences Galloping Deschamps, he's won by 22, 9, 8, 23, 4.5 and 7.5 lengths. So, yeah.
You've done a better job of selling that special than I have, and I work for Carl. That's pretty good, isn't it?
It's all right. You whip in at the back post. I'll finish it off. There you go. Galloping Deschamps 4 to 7 then for the Irish Gold Cup. Right, now let's go back in time. To the 2 o'clock at Sandown, shall we? We're going to go a bit of Sandown, a bit of Musselburgh, a bit of Leopardstown again, even a bit of Sunday. Simon's going to tell you how the rugby's going to go as well. Tom's going to tell you how Reading are going to do. There's loads going on. But we start off with the handicap chase over 2 miles, or just shy, at Sandown. Etalon 9 to 4, Martator 4 to 1, Classic Maestro 9 to 2, Solo 5 to 1, Gunsight Ridge 5 to 1, Dr. TJ Eckelberg at 12 to 1, the outsider of the 6. And Mr. Tom Segal, if you thought picking through which of Mullins' 5 novices is the best, the second best game in the Winter National Hunt Racing Challenge is which race are the well-handicapped skeleton horses aiming for? Is this Etalon's big day?
Look, it could easily be, couldn't it? On last year's form, he's incredibly well handicapped, but this is exactly the type of horse I would never bet in a million years. Because I don't think has he beaten a horse this season? One. He beat one at Cheltenham, didn't he? Otherwise, he's finished last or unseated. Now, clever people. I mean, I don't like playing the trainers too clever. He's done this all on purpose. He's going to win this race for the... He might do. He might well do, but he's 9 to 4. He's beaten one horse. Good luck. If you want to play that game, good luck. Not my game. It is certainly not my game. Leave that. It's the Affodil's coming up in a minute as well. We'll talk about him the same. He can't get out of his... He's beaten 62 lengths at 9 to 2 last week. Now you're asking him to back in a better race at 3 to 1.
Yeah.
It's just not my game. So
plus, he's a spring horse. Bit early for Affodils, isn't it? Sorry. Hang on.
Oh, very good. Very good. So look,
anyway.
Listen, I'm quite happy to see Etalon win, but I would never back him in a million years. Martator, I think, has been gone the wrong way. Gunsight Ridge was pulled up last time. Dr. TJ Eckelberg probably doesn't jump well enough. Classic Maestro is okay, but he was beaten in a much lesser race last time. I ain't by what's it called?
Process of elimination.
Correct. That's what I was coming to. I've come down on Solo because I just think he ran really well last time at Ascot. I think he's been crying out for 2 miles on heavy ground. I think that's what he's been waiting for. He's very well handicapped on his old form. He's He beat That's All Right Gino, easily thrashed him in a Grade 2. He was a proper horse, and he's come down in the weights. He's going to like conditions. I think it's going to be a good day for Nichols tomorrow. So Solo would be my one, but look, Etalon might go and win by 5 lengths, but it's not. That is definitely not my type of horse ever, or never will be.
No, fair enough. But it might well be a cheeky anti-postman kind of.
Yeah, well, every horse has a price. Tom knows that better than everyone.
Yeah.
And well, when I looked at this at the start of the week, Etalon was 9-2, Martator was 9-4. They flip-flopped, and now you're looking for reasons to take him on. But the case is there. He ran really well. His best performance here came last season when he easily beat Gunsight Ridge. He's better off with that horse now. He was really well backed for another handicap here that was at the abandoned meeting a few weeks ago. Really strongly supported. So I think they're waiting for a Sandown race.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be his day, but yeah, he's exciting at 9-2. He's not as exciting at 9-4 sort of thing. Get what Tom's saying about Solo. I mean, this drop back to 2 miles is sort of quite interesting. Then he won an Adonis a few years ago at Kempton. Like he's got a bit of class and speed about him. It's just how much ability does he retain? We don't really know. So it's a race where I've had a better in the week and I can just sit and see what happens. But yeah, now he's 9-4. You're happy to leave it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. 9-4 Etalon then. But yeah, horses for courses, horses for conditions as well. And yeah, well, handicap, likes the track, likes the ground, everything in its favour. Yeah, again, 9-4. Anything else to add, Simon? Because it's just one of those races where you wouldn't be surprised if the favourite won, but also you don't want necessarily pay to find out.
I'm with Tom. Must admit, I'd looked at. I mean, Dan Skelton obviously does a blog for Ladbrokes, and in Etalon's previous runs, even in the Haldon Gold Cup, he was he definitely was sort of hoping for better. So I don't think it's been a plan, but I think he knows he's a lot better than he's shown. So I think there's hope rather than expectation tomorrow, albeit he's clearly looking well handicapped. Martator, after that £11 height, you think you take him on. Gunsight Ridge was disappointed by the process of elimination. I was in a similar camp to Tom really. I thought Classic Maestro just looks like an inform horse. He ran well in third last time after his previous 2 wins. There's a good chance as the inform horse, he may be the one who just wins. But Solo is interesting. Paul Nicholls has won this 3 out of the last 6 years. Owned by Johnny Delahaye. Dolos has won all 3 of those, and he's only one letter. Solo's only 1 letter away from Dolos, isn't he? He's missing a D, so that's in his favour. But I just thought, look, Solos with the 2 mile form. I look back, 3rd to Edwardstone in a Desert Orchid Chase before it became a limited handicap. 2nd to Elixir de Nuts, he's run a 2 miler, as you say. That Dad's All Right Gino, so he looks plenty fast enough, and he's not really looked in the best of form, but. I thought Solo and Classic Maestro were the most likely winners of the 2. But we have actually got one of those time-limited specials, which I forgot to mention earlier, but I mentioned now, and that's even money, Etalon or Martator to win this. £20 max bet. It works out a good bit shorter than that, or a bit shorter than that, although Martator has been pushed out to 4-1. So even money, either the front 2 to win this. But I think so. I came down on Solo, but I thought we're taking on the front 3.
All right, okay, that's Sundown's 2 o'clock then. We're going to go to Musselburgh's 2:17 up next. And again, I wonder if there's any interest in the favourite from Mr. Tom Segal. I don't know. It's just he keeps his opinions to himself sometimes. He really does hide his light under a bushel. Affodil 130 then. Florida Dreams 4-1. Balambar 11-2. Old Gregorian 7-1. Maglark 8-1 and 12-1 bar for the Scottish County Handicap Hurdle, which was won last year by Affodil, coming back for another crack. But the question for Affodil though is, we've got the January flu jab thing for Paul Nicholls normally, but he also came out this week and said his gallops are flooded as well. So
it's been tough for the gentleman, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
tough time for Paul Nicholls. I'm certainly not writing him off at all. He's still got it. I don't particularly like this horse for the reasons kind of Tom outlined. I think Etalon's got a better chance of winning that respective race. It's a much bigger field here. There's a lot of interest. I think Florida Dreams is the one to beat, to be honest.
The thing is, both me and Tom, I think, have got history with this horse in the sense of, God, the ability is there.
Hey, yeah.
But he could win this eye off the track or drop the lot in the home straight.
Yeah, I just think a lot of time he's been running in unsuitable races. He doesn't like testing ground. He's running soft ground quite a lot. He never runs well on it. They tried to make him into a 3 miler. He didn't take to it at all. I think on his 2 runs before he turned up at Aintree as quite a hot favourite on Boxing Day over 2 mile 4 on deep ground, he ran really well. He beat Salsada at Hexham. Cosily enough, as she went out and won her next two. And then he ran pretty well in the Greatwood. I mean, that's a better race than this. He was fifth in that, staying on when Burdett Road controlled things from the front under Harry Cobden. And you'd like to think, you'd have thought if you're on him that Nicky Richards has had an eye on this meeting. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's obviously got the favourite in the next race as well. And I think it is going to come for him eventually. As you point out, he's got the class. He's won the Grade 2 bumper. You've always thought he's going to be much better than 126. And if he doesn't prove it here, then he's never going to really.
Yeah, that's the thing. The problem is I've already paid to find out a little bit, so he's
Do you want to give a few more quid away? That's the thing. At 4-1 as well, like it's not a massive price, really, is it?
Well, but again,
Ross, you've got quid out of you're still up on Florida Dreams, aren't you? You backed him in the bumper that day. You can't be down on Florida Dreams, can you?
No, I'm not down on Florida Dreams, but as in terms of his overall profit and loss. However, I think I probably backed him at least 3 times over obstacles, and I don't know. It's like you. I'm looking at it. It's just so inconsistent. It's so frustrating. But I know he is the best horse in this race. I know that. If he's 7, 8, 9 to 1, then maybe. And Nicky Richards' horses are in good nick, and Danny McMahon's a fantastic jockey. But again, it's just a race where I immediately look at it and thought, if Florida Dreams is in there, I know my heart and my head are going to be in a battle already. So
yeah. I mean, I'm exactly the same with you, and I've told you my feelings about Affordil. I found this race really hard because I didn't, they take out a lot of the market, so I was looking for something else, but I was struggling to find that other thing. I thought Old Gregorian might run well. I mean, they've been watering up there, believe it or not, when it's going to be not nearly flooded at Sandown, and it's going to be they've been watering up in Musselburgh, so the ground must be pretty good. I mean, Affordil's interesting, isn't he? Obviously on last year's form, but I don't know what happened at Southall. You can't blame the ground because he was fifth in the county hurdle on heavy ground. So you can't blame the ground at Southall. I don't know. Beaten 62 lengths last time, not for me. Same with Florida Dreams. They backed him at Aintree, didn't they? I mean, the trip might have been a bit far, to be fair, but he was, and you couldn't see much. So it's hard to say what really happened. But beaten a long way that day. They could both bounce back. Of course they could. They're both well handicapped, good horses. Do I want to back them at the prices? No, I don't. I thought, I don't know. I was really struggling. I nearly came down on Freddie Robinson just because he's in form likes Musselburgh, but I'm not sure he's good enough.
Yeah, but he was the only one. Look, I'd rather back Freddie Robinson to place than I would Florida Dreams to win. I mean, in the past 12 months, flat and jumps. What's that?
Don't say that.
Well, no, you can back Florida Dreams.
Yeah, no, carry on, sorry.
Florida Dreams could beat Freddie Robinson in the second, and we're both happy.
No, it's a game of opinion, isn't it?
yeah.
You've got the old Charlie Maggs on, but he's good, isn't he?
He is good. Past 12 months, flat and jumps, Freddie Robinson. First, fourth, third, first, second, third, second. He's fit. Yard going all right. Charlie Maggs is a good jockey.
Likes Musselburgh.
I did have a look at him at the start of the week. So yeah, you warmed me up to him a bit.
But Florida Dreams on pure ability should lap him.
Yeah, he should. Let's hope it happens, mate. It's last chance saloon with me and Florida Dreams.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I've left the saloon. I'm stumbling home. But Freddie Robinson could run a good race, Tom.
Yeah, I mean that was the one I was looking at. I'm not, as you say, believe it or not, I think one of them will bounce back, but it's not the type of bet I like having. So I wouldn't back either of them. But they're too well handicapped. If either of them, one of them will bounce back probably. I expect it to be Florida Dreams actually. I think he might bounce back here because I think this will have been the target, and I think he'll like conditions, but I'm not sure I'd back him after last run. I know I wouldn't. No chance.
Okay, Tom Leach is on Florida Dreams each way at 5-1. Jonathan Peck back Freddie Robinson each way last week. Shaped well and looked like this might well be the plan. And Simon Clare, you've got another angle at a bigger price, possibly.
Well, we've got a runner for the Coral Racing Club in All the Glory. The mare who we bought a few weeks ago. Actually, she came out and won at Southall. I think it was on New Year's Day or something. Very impressively in the soft ground up there. We ran her in the Grade 2 mares hurdle at Ascot a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of went there a little bit with some sort of hope she might sort of run a big one, but actually she travelled well for a long way and then got outpaced turning for home and outclassed really probably a little bit as well. But the reason tomorrow I think it'll be the same. I mean, 2 miles on that ground around Musselburgh, I think it's going to be too quick for her. But she needs to run twice more in the north to qualify for a really nice mares a race at Musselburgh over 2.5 miles at the end of March. So we penciled in this. There aren't that many opportunities for a rating. Penciled in this race, and there's I think a race at Doncaster in a couple of weeks she can run in and get those 3 northern-based runs under a belt to qualify for the race at Musselburgh. So that's the good. So we're not expecting much. We have got a special on her 5-1 to finish in the top 4. She's got Ben Macy on board claiming 7, so she could stay on, past beaten horses. But I think it might all come a bit quick for her. But I thought it'd take on the front 2 as well. I thought Ballenbar was interesting. Harry Derham's had a nightmare with his gallops. Literally couldn't train them. They were washed away. But he's showing real signs of return to form. His last 6 winners, he's had 2 winners, 3 seconds, and a 4th. He's obviously taking a horse over to Ireland, isn't he? I think at the weekend. And Ballenbar got flat, he's off the flat. Ran 3rd at Newbury 79. 2nd in that race at Affordil was at the back of the telly in. I mean, it wasn't the strongest race, but at least he ran a really good race. I just thought he's a really solid each way play, Ballenbar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. The only thing that put me off was Harry Derham's horses, but like you said, even the last 2 have won. It might well be that February's a lot better than January. Okay.
Yeah, and what you often find then is when a trader's had a bit of a nightmare, suddenly when he hits form and he gets them fit again, he's got some horses who probably got a bit, maybe have a few pounds in hand of the handicap. I should have said, actually, I've got another one of those time limited specials. Stays up till 7:30, and that's if you fancy the first 2, either of the first 2 in the betting, as some people will, Affordil or Florida Dreams. You can back them both at 2-1. I think at the odds they add up to about 11-8. So it's there's some benefit there of just having 2-1, either of them to win, and that's up to 7:30, £20 max bet.
Oh, the boys in the office don't like him either side.
They don't like him. That's right. They don't like Etalon and Matador in the previous race. They don't like Affordil or Florida Dreams here. But punters will, and the traders get it wrong.
Yeah. All but they don't like them all. There's things to be honest at. But anyway, look, it's 2-1 out from 8 to 11-8 if you want to fancy those 2 against the field. Over to Sandown then, Grade 1 action, 2.5 miles here at the Scilly Isles at Novices Chase. Django Bay is 5-6 favourite here. Handstands 11-4. Caliph de Burley is 100-30, and Mark of Gold is the outsider of the 4 at 22-1. Who on paper you'd say would struggle to win this race, but probably not the first time. We'll have said that about a Gary Moore Novice Chaser with a big price in small field in bad ground at Sandown, and we'd have got it wrong. Le Patron, the one that comes to mind. Of course, Mark of Gold won at a decent price last time out. However, Mr. Tom Segal, the favourite here, Django Bay, is you're talking about the Irish versus the British novices over hurdles and over fences, and it could well be that this weekend, if Ballyburn wins and Django Bay wins, that Brown Advisory could be getting very tasty indeed.
Indeed, yeah. I've had a few quid on Django Bay for the Brown Advisory a few weeks ago.
Same here.
Woohoo! Oh, here we go.
Let's go.
It's not often you two have got the same ticket.
Yeah. Well, I just thought he's the wrong price, isn't he? The form, he beat Springwell Bay, didn't he? Who came out and won a handicap, easily. He had Caldwell Potter, who people hate Caldwell Potter, but he still ran well in that Windsor race the other day. I think the form's really good. I think he's got a very good chance of winning this, obviously, as he's the odds-on favourite. And then why can't he go to Cheltenham and give Ballyburn a race? I mean, he's won round Cheltenham. He ran a blinder in the Aintree handicap hurdle, 2.5 mile handicap hurdle last year when he was almost brought down 2 out, lost a load of ground and flew home to be second in a race that's worked out really well. Big fan of his, but I'm also a big fan of handstands. I love handstands. I think he's underrated. I don't know why. He wins lots. Hasn't he won all his races by when he's fallen and when he was 6th at the Cheltenham Festival? I think he's really good. I think he likes Sandown, and I think the key to him is he's going to absolutely relish the bottomless ground, which it's going to be at Sandown. I mean, they keep, I don't see any way it's not going to be really, really testing. We know he stays 3 miles, so I don't think it's a clear cut for Django Bay, as the market suggests. I think he will win. But I think handstands is a real big danger, and you can't rule out the Nichols horse either, who has jumped really well. I'm just slightly concerned whether he'll quite get home over 2.5 miles in the mud at Sandown. That's my worry about him. I think handstands will make it a good gallop, and Django Bay will probably pick him up over the last. But I think it might be closer than people think.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, handstands of 1-4, you could well see Django Bay win this, go for the Brown Advisory, and handstands go for the novice handicap.
I could happen. You'd have a lot of weight. It'd be close to top weight there potentially.
Yeah.
Is there a 145 ceiling on
I think it's an open handicap this year.
Oh, okay,
It
right.
used to be.
It used to be, didn't it? Yeah.
But if
That's an
I mean,
interesting angle.
but again, it's I just think it's a nice. I mean, look, they do it in Ireland all the time.
Yeah.
You need a Grade 1 or Grade 2 horse to win a handicap. So
Yeah, I mean, our Plutar got in off 145, didn't he?
Yeah.
Handstands is the one I fear. I'm on Django Bay anti-post. I was happy enough when I saw that Impera Pass was rerouted earlier in the week. Yeah, I could just see him winning this quite well and going off a lot shorter than the sort of 14-1 you're getting for the Brown Advisory. He might be more like 10s, 12s, but I think that's still pretty fair. Really impressed with him at Cheltenham, as Tom pointed out. Springwood Bay's obviously come out and won a major handicap really easily. He's got a Ryanair entry. Django Bay, there's no real knowing how high he can rate. And I mean, yeah, Long Press won this a couple of years ago before winning the Brown Advisory. It could be a nice trial for it because 2 mile 4 on testing ground at Sandown, that's almost a 3 mile test really. So yeah, I really like Django Bay and I expect him to win.
yeah,
Don't forget though, boys, the handstands did beat Django Bay last year.
Yeah.
that is true.
You know, at Huntingdon.
Shouldn't forget that.
That is true.
You know, he's a very, very good horse, handstands. He's underrated. I think they should be closer in the market. I like handstands. I mean, I wonder whether he'll run in the Brown. I don't even know if he's entered in the Brown Advisory. They were not talking about it, but they could always supplement him in. But he was
I mean, a lot of the
time.
time. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends. Like I said, there's different ways. I mean, Django Bay, of course, he was a greater winner at Aintree as well. I mean, he might. There's obviously the novice chase there at Aintree over 2.5, isn't there? So it's look, they're both really, really excited, aren't they? But
All three of them. Don't forget Khalif de Burle. He's
Yeah.
exciting too. I think it's a really good race. Hello, doggy.
there we go. You're not the only one as well. Okay, Django Bay 5 to 6 handstands, 11 to 4. Khalif de Burle 130 mark of gold 22 to 1. Yeah, only 4 runners. It used to be a race to Scilly hours a little bit at Simon where I don't know. It's occasionally had a reputation for being a bit of a weak Grade 1, but Long Press, Jerry Colomb, of course, won this a couple of years
Bristol
ago.
Demai, Defi Desoy. I mean, no, I think it's a good race. You know, it tends to be the best of ours anyway. And in the last few years, that hasn't necessarily been the best around because the Irish come over and beat them all up at Cheltenham. But I mean, these look good, and I'm hoping actually that we're starting to see a bit of a comeback in terms of the quality of the novice chase on this side of the Irish Sea, and indeed the novice hurdlers coming through. We'll find that out in a few weeks. I mean, there'll be a bit, there's a big other angle of this, which was obviously the death of John Hales, which was really very sad. Listen, he's lived an amazing life. He's in his 80s, but I watched Harry Skelton get very emotional after a winner at Lingfield today with Hayley Moore, and I didn't probably fully appreciate how close he was to the Skelton family. He was talking about him being a grandfather figure, and did he make his money out of making teddy bears? Apparently, he turned up and delivered a special teddy bear for Bridget and Harry's child just not that long ago. And of course he was at Windsor celebrating Protectorate to win, and I just literally noticed that they've changed the colours of Khalif de Burle to John Hales on the Race Post website, because I think that was probably down to running Fergie's colours this year, but they're going to run it in John Hales tomorrow. And look, that it was actually, I think this race, very sadly, Hermes Allen came to grief last year. It was a very promising horse, but look, not that any of that sort of makes any difference to the chances or the outcome of this race, but I think it's always nice. It's incredible. He won the national with Neptune Cologne, Protect off, you name it. He's way. I think it's the way we'd like to spend our money if we made a lot of money, which we haven't done sadly. But we're doing previews on YouTube. But I think he's got a great chance. I mean, he actually. I'm not giving gratuitous mentions for Coral, but he actually won 2 very nice hurdle races at the Lanzarote meeting last year, and then won the Dovecote, both Coral sponsored. And then he won the novice handicap, the Football Win Trophy at the Coral Gold Cup meeting. And I mean, again, irrelevantly, I was very lucky enough to present the trophies for a couple of those races. So I'm going to be cheering him on. I think he's got a great chance. I remember John Hales saying when he won that second race at Kempton, he said to Paul, "Do you think do you genuinely think he could be a Gold Cup of the future?" And Paul said, "Yeah, that's what this is. If I've got a Gold Cup winner in my yard for the future, it's Khalif de Burle." So the trip. He's going to have to stay the trip tomorrow if he's going to ever turn into a Gold Cup horse. And so I'm putting my money on him.
Okay, Khalif de Burle 130 then. To be fair, he's only 5 years old, so he could get beat in this and still be a Gold Cup horse in 2 or 3 years, couldn't he? So, okay. Musselburgh's 250 then. Scottish Champion Chase over 2.5 miles. And the Kaluki Kid is 11-4 favourite here. Marble Sand 7-2. Saint Segal is 5-1. I message the Pope every week and I say, look, it's about time he got his due. Old Tommy boy. Fidelio Vallis 8-1, Manila Drama 10-1, Sasaico 10-1, and 12-1. Bar those here at Musselburgh for this 250 contest. Mr. Robbie Wilders. We're talking about Nicky Richards. He's got 3 horses at Musselburgh tomorrow. They've all been well backed. They'll all be well fancied. And the Kaluki kid. I mean, to be fair, again, we keep talking about these races with Cheltenham. If he wins this well, he could go for the Novice at Cheltenham.
He could, yeah.
But he looks a nice type.
I'd have thought that Richards is a sort of trainer that doesn't send many to Cheltenham. I imagine this has been his big target.
Yeah. I mean, it's 50 grand to the winner for this.
Yes, it's going to be worth the same as like the plate, basically, isn't it? Like,
that's a lot of cash for it's not the strongest of handicap chasers. So yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you target this?
It's smart, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, because of the prestige of Cheltenham, but a lot of the handicaps, the prize money is not any better than these races at sort of Musselburgh, Sandown, Ascot. So
to be fair, Handstands could have come here at 50 grand. He'd
made more money, about the same amount of money, yeah.
And he wouldn't have been top weight.
Yes, arguably not a great piece of placing then by Ben Borland. But I'm finding myself liking a lot of favourites this week, which isn't normally the way, but I do like this horse. Do like a Novice in a handicap with a lot of exposed horses, and he just looked really good at Doncaster. I know there were some fallers in behind. I don't think that had made any real difference to the result. I thought he won really easily. I think £7 rise is lenient. I thought Buxy Des a Pair was quite an interesting horse. He brushed him aside very easily. Mm-hmm. He's just got a really nice profile. He's going to like the ground. 2.5 miler, progressive. There's not a lot not to like, and I normally like to try and get these favourites beaten, but I'm very happy with the Kaluki kidder.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. I mean, even Dorian DeBar would beat him over 2 miles as Frank that form as well, so it does look good. That said, Marble Sands' form also looks good, doesn't it, Tom? Obviously, the Springwell Bay, we just talked about him being beaten by Django Bay and then coming out next time out and winning nicely. But he's running 2 really good races the last couple, and is very much the class angle to the race.
Undoubtedly, yeah. The thing I thought about this race is going to be a massive burn-up, isn't it? It's a tight track. You've got a load of front runners, so it's all going to be about jumping. And the Kaluki kid was brilliant in his jumping at Doncaster. While everything else was smashing into fences, he didn't touch a twig, and he's clearly an exceptional jumper. However, this is going to be a different type of race because you're going to Fidelio Vallis is going to go off. St. Segal made the running last time. You've got Corrigine Rock that likes to race up with the pace and a few others. So I thought it was going to be a real test of jumping this. That is why I was slightly against Marble Sands. I don't think he's the best jumper that I've around. He's a perfectly adequate one, but I don't think it's like sort of a natural thing for him. Thought it was really hard. I totally get the Kaluki kid, but I don't tip 5 to 2 shots or 2, whatever he was in handicap chases that's gone up £7 and has run twice over fences. It's just not my thing. I totally get it, but not at the price for me. I hope Robbie got a much bigger price than that earlier in the week because then it softened. Did he?
He did, yeah.
Good.
Stop it.
Good, because otherwise it's a different kettle of fish. Now, I thought Psycho, she's sweet but a psycho, or whatever they say. I thought he had a chance, and I thought he ran really well the other day at Fosslas, 2 miles heavy ground. I don't think that's his thing, but that was the time when the Derham horses didn't even. I don't think they even had any gallops at the time. I think they were all washed away. I think that run would have brought him on a lot. I think if you go back to his form at Newbury last year, where he was just beaten by Tottenham, who's a bit of a Newbury specialist, very good Newbury form, that horse. He was on good ground. He had some good horses 20 lengths behind. I thought on that form, it was a very good time that day as well. I thought he might go well at an each-way price. So he'd be my choice, Psycho, because I just think the race is going to be just go his way. He likes a strong pace and he won't sit too far off it. And hopefully he might run well at a big price. But listen, if the Kaluki kid jumps like he did last time, I think he's got a great chance.
Okay.
How about you, Ross?
There's literally one horse that looks overpriced to me here, and that's Manila Drama, whose record in handicap chases is let's have a look. First, second, first. That second was at Aintree in a Grade 2 behind Jetwal in the Old Roan. Back in October, beat Hitman and Ahoy Signor and Stage Star in an Unexpected Party over 2.5 miles. Pulled up last time out behind Jello. Look, this horse is not a graded horse. The problem is he wins handicaps, then has to go into graded races, gets beat in graded races. But I know he's off top weight here, but he's a proper 2.5 mile handicap chaser. He's got a course and distance win to his name as well. Donald McCain's horses are going all right, but I don't know. I just he's the class act of the race potential. I said Marble Sands was, but Manila Drama in handicap chasers has got a good record.
Yeah, absolutely, he has. I mean, I'm dead against that Old Roan form, but if you take it literally, yes. That's a good run, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he went off through. I mean, what would these horses be in the old road? But anyway, Musselburgh's 250, Mr. Simon Clare.
Yeah, playing 4 places, not 3. Tom stole my thunder a little bit. So Psycho is the horse I quite like at the prices, just because I say all last season he was running consistently off this mark, running really good races when he got rounds, and for, as we discussed earlier, he actually ran quite well last time. And Harry Derham, it could be. Now we're about to, see him bounce into some pretty good form with the last few runs, throwing up some winners. So Psycho for me, like your Angler Manila Drama, I must say, I'd sort of written him off because he'd been getting beat so often. But like you said, he's been running in really good races, hasn't he? He's had to, whereas this actually gives him half a chance. And actually, Robbie's absolutely right. It's quite frustrating actually when we sponsored with Coral what's now the Ladbrokes Trophy at Kempton, and we put the prize money up to 150 grand, which is exactly the same amount as the Ultima and the Plate. And we've got some good, we've got good races, but there's still 12, 13, 14 runner races. And then you get full fields at Cheltenham, and you don't even have to race against the Irish at Kempton in a few weeks' time.
Do you know what the funny thing is, Simon, as well, is that the headline after headline of prize money's, we can't just live off prestige in the UK horse racing. Prize money's not good enough. You put the prize money on, they go, yeah, but it's not got the prestige, has it? You can't win.
Yeah, they don't want to run their horses. They want to save their horses for one race where they're running against 24 others with one chance to win. And the irony is, I remember, and Tom will remember, that Kempton meeting used to throw up lots of Cheltenham winners. In fact, there was one year where that actual race, when it was the Racing Post Chase, I think it was the year that Docklands Express actually threw up 4 different winners at the festival. They went off to the Kimyor, the Plate, the
Francois Dumaine. Do you remember Francois Dumaine used to bring his horses over and use it to trial?
Yeah. I think the fellow ran it before he won the Gold Cup. So
Bilbao and loads of them used to come over and run. I mean, it's such a shame. Going back to the prize money thing is just the biggest load of rubbish you've ever heard in your life that those owners come out with. It's rubbish. I was going to say a swear word then, but I managed to save it. They go over there because they think Willie Mullins can win them races. It's nothing to do with prize money.
Yeah. You're right. And the other thing is, you only have to look at it all the time now, because I've been doing it because it used to frustrate me so much. British trainers go on about how the Irish prize money is better. If you actually look, it's not. All the graded races, our prize money has been going up. Theirs actually been under pressure. But of course, the Irish stay quiet because they're quite happy for us to keep saying it's better when it's not actually better. It's like it's a bit. So I'm with you, Tom, completely. I think it's very frustrating. But you're right. They've actually got the sourcing of the horses. The thing they've got so much control over that you think you can't beat them unless you're with them. You can't get the horses. Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
No, yeah, but it's a good digression. I think it's fair enough. But like I said, it's not. Plus, look, I don't think it's necessarily when people say it's a load of rubbish. I don't. A lot of the time, sometimes you don't know your own motivation. You almost believe what you're saying yourself, don't you? Do you know what I mean? There might be the prize money's not good enough, or there's loads of stuff. I don't know. How many times have you had we've all had mates who've gone, we split up. Yeah, I just didn't work, and you're like, no, she dumped you. Do you know what I mean? There's other reasons here. You're fudging the truth a little bit, but
I love it.
Yeah, if it was just for the cash, plus people owning these kind of horses have got the money anyway, haven't they?
Yeah.
It is the price.
Well, I thought to be fair, Max McNeil's a really good bloke. He runs Ultima, doesn't he? He owns loads of horses both sides of the sea. And Jed Mason, obviously owns horses with the late John Hales and Fergie. They both came out in a great defence, I thought, of British racing, saying they don't want to run their horses in other countries because they fundamentally want to be able to go and see their horses run. Max went over to Ireland to watch Gordon Elliott horse run on the 27th. So he goes over both sides of the pond. But yeah, that's the point. You want to be able to see your horses run and enjoy them. So if I had money, I'd have horses in England.
Hold on a minute. If you had money,
If I was a rich man.
And I'm an Irish passport holder. I mean, I'm not anti-Irish.
No, absolutely not. No, I get it. Can we get one of them? I'd love one of them right now. That's all right.
Do you drink Guinness, Ross? Do you drink Guinness?
I do, but I think if anything, given my dad's possible lineage, I think I'm more likely to go. I'm Southern European is what I'm going for potentially.
Okay, yeah.
I'm digging through the family tree. So we see if I can move to the Greek coast somewhere. Anyway, Leopardstown 255. The Irish Arkle is up next for us. Mashborough 8-11. Il Atlantique is 9-4. Firefox 8-1. Touch Me Not 12-1. Juno Lapin is 33-1. And Here Comes Georgie at 80-1 is the outsider of the bunch. What a race it would be if Patrick Neville came out on top with the outside. Although to be fair, we just been talking about Jory Calam, you know. It's not that long ago that you have to find a Patrick Neville Grade 1 novice chaser upsetting the apple cart. However, Mashborough is second favourite for the Arkle. Much like the favourite, Tom, in Sergino. We've seen him once over fences. He was very, very impressive indeed. Albeit, you know, he got the run of the race. This is remarkably only his fifth run on a race course. Very different type to Il Atlantique, the second favourite. So far, from what we've seen, Il Atlantique is actually, you know, arguably the better horse. This is going to be a cracking matchup.
Absolutely, and it's we've been going on about this all day, isn't it? It's how you pick your poison, don't you? It's how you bet. I mean, I have no doubts that Mashborough is the best horse, none whatsoever. But I don't bet on horses at 8-11 that have had one run over fences in a race that's going to go. They're going to go like the clappers, aren't they?
You're almost better off at this point backing him. If you think he's going to win this, back him at 4 or 5s for the Arkle, right?
That's what I would do. That's the way I'd look at it. Although then you've got to bump into Sergino, isn't it? But it's just a watch. It's just a watch race for me. But unless you fancy him to something, you know, to stumble his way round, and then it's happened loads of times in the past. I mean, he's just had one run over fences, isn't he, where he got all his own way from the front. He's not going to get that here. Touch Me Not is a brilliant jumper, despite taking one of the Sandown Railway fences home with him last time. He's actually a very good jumper of fences. He's going to go fast. I think Firefox is going to go up with Il Atlantique is not going to sit behind Mashborough, is he? He's going to sit in front of him, if anything. And therefore, do you want to back him at 8-11? I hope he wins, because I want to see the Mashborough versus Sergino match up at Cheltenham. I think that will be one of the races of the festival. But I couldn't back him at 8-11, not after one run over fences. It's just not my kind of thing. Look, there's loads of people that will back him and will be really happy if he wins and whatever, and say I'm an idiot and all those sort of things. But that's just not my personal way of punting. How would I go about betting in this race? I don't think I'd probably have a bet. I'm quite interested to see how Firefox runs, because I think he's better than he's shown. And I'm hoping Touch Me Not doesn't get too close to these, because I sort of had him down as a Grand Annual horse. As a horse that could run really well in a race like that. But look, Il Atlantique's done nothing wrong. It's a boring old cliche, but he was good the other day at Naas. The softer the ground, the better for him. I think Mashborough is the one with the X factor, isn't he? He's the one that's most likely to win, but I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole at 8-11.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it will be exciting. I mean, Willie Mullins obviously has a good record in this, but you know, we've had quite a few beaten favourites in this in the past few years. I mean, Appreciate It went off short. Il Atlantique was 6-1 last year. El Fabiola was 9-2 the year before. It's all well and good after the event, looking at it and going, oh yeah, that was Mullins' best novice. But you know, the front two are, you know, Il Atlantique ran to an RPR of 159 last time out. He's no slouch.
Certainly. I mean, he's got the better chasing form, isn't he? You'd have to agree that Mashborough's got the bigger wow factor about him.
Yeah, he could easily take a step forward, a huge step forward.
Yeah, of course he could, yeah. But the actual bare form of his victory at Fairyhouse probably doesn't amount to a massive amount. Those two come out and were beaten in beginners' chases to another stablemate. I know that Mr. Segal tipped for the Arkle. But it's just a complete watching brief. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Il Atlantique won. And this came maybe slightly too early in Mashborough's. I always thought Mashborough might be better over further eventually as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So if he is going to get beaten before Cheltenham, he can only run once before Cheltenham. But I'd fancy Gino to beat him there. But I would tread carefully if you think about backing him, even though he's a really good long-term prospect, because there are good horses in this field.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, he's going to be really interesting, because he was very much in his comfort zone at Ferry House last time out, wasn't he? And given the horses up against here, I mean, in Atlantique, you've got a horse who definitely stays 2.5 miles, but has the cruising speed for 2. Paul Townend is obviously, since he's got back in the saddle, has gone on really well. He's going to give Madgeburg a test here. And again, is Willie Mullins going to really care which one wins today?
Not at all. No, it's really for the owners, isn't it? I mean, if Madgeburg gets beaten, no one's going to come out and say, well, he's done, is he?
Yeah.
And Il Atlantique, I suppose you could say his form did tail off the second half of last season as well. I don't know if there's anything in that whatsoever, but it'll be interesting.
I mean, Si was talking about conflated earlier, but I remember sitting in this chair last year with Ross and Si, I think it was, and having exactly the same discussion about Marine Nationale, who was 4-7 to win this race and got turned over because he didn't jump very well. And it's just, you just can't back them, I don't think. I don't think they win enough for it'd be worth backing it at 8-11. Look, he might go and win by 15 lengths. He might do. But next year we'll have another one in exactly the same position, and he'll get stuffed, and you haven't made any money backing these horses. So I don't know what Si thinks, but I say it's very short.
Well, I mean, again, what we want to see, Simon, is we want to see Madgeburg, Atlantique, and Firefox all running absolute blinders, so that then Sergino suddenly doesn't look like he's got the Arkle to himself, and we can get excited about the rest of the season as well as enjoying this race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can sort of look at the race and what the desired outcome is. What's interesting, I had a look at the last 10 years. A 5-year-old hadn't won for the last 10 years. I looked in, there were quite a few fancied 5-year-olds who'd run in races in the last 10 years. Not only 7 in total, but when they ran, obviously when a 5-year-old runs in a race like this, it's usually a horse who people have hopes for. I then look back, there's only been one 5-year-old winner of this since the 1980, which was Frozen Groom in 2000 with Paul Carberry on board. So the point I'm making, I suppose, is you're going to be backing an odds-on favourite, who's a very young horse. We know how hard it is to Triumph hurdle horses the following year, even over hurdles, let alone over fences. I know he gets a small weight allowance, but so he could well win. He probably will win, but I'd take him on. Now, Il Atlantique is the obvious one. When I noted the prices down an hour or so before the show, it was 4-7 Madgeburg. It was 3 Atlantique. Quite interesting that even in the last hour or so, Madgeburg's eased to 8-11, and it's gone 9-4 in Atlantique. So that's the way the market's moving. So I would take him on. I had Atlantique is the one to take him on with. Couple of specials. If you think Madgeburg and Gallop and Deschamps are just both going to win, I think it works out about 13-8 at current prices, the double to win. But for 100-30, you can get them both to win by over 2 lengths. We mentioned Gallop and Deschamps' record at Leopardstown. He always wins by over 4 lengths, 5 lengths, let alone 2 lengths. And if you then want a bigger price, you can get 6-1 from them both to win by over 4 lengths. So there's ways with those specials of backing both those odds-on favourites to win and win well as a double. But I, for one, I think you've just got to have a crack at the favourite, given the history of this meeting in the last few years, and back the second in.
Okay, Atlantique, that is a 9-4 shot for the Irish Arkle. Let's rattle through a couple more on Saturday then, and then have a quick word on a few on Sunday. A handicap hurdle over 3 miles at Sandown here. Henri II is 3-1, Red Dirt Road 6-1, What a Johnny 7-1, Dartmoor Pirate 7, Shoot First 15-2, 10-1, and Bigger the Rest here for this 3 mile handicap hurdle over at Sandown. We said earlier on about Etalon for horses for courses and for conditions, and the favourite backer sat to my left here. Robbie Wilder.
Yeah, I'm loving the favourites today.
You are. But conditions are absolutely.
Yeah, they are. Do you know? I wanted to tip him at 7-1 at the start of the week, but I thought there's no chance these hurdle races are going to go ahead because it was rumoured for a while, wasn't it? But yeah, he's got a cracking chance. Some fella tweeted me calling me a disgrace last weekend for tipping up Paul Nicholls' horses. They're running awfully. Producer
Ben says.
And then this was 10 minutes later, Stage Star runs a career best, and then Monmoral almost runs a career best. So, shut you up, didn't it, son? But yeah, Henri II, very, very...
Is that what you replied to him?
No, I held back my reply for this show.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't want to get involved in the keyboard stuff.
No, absolutely.
That can cost you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Henri II, he won very, very easily over this course and distance on very similar ground last time. Second and third, both won since. The third one twice since. He was very interested in that race last time on the basis of his novice form. He won the Esher a few years ago. I think he's got a huge chance. I think he's going to win this and then go very close to the Temps final. You heard it here first.
I did. Monmoral won it off 138 last year. So yeah, if he goes up £6 for this,
we'll take 6. We'll take 6.
You'll take
because
6.
The favourite in the Temps final is not going to run, is he?
Well, I hope not. I think we all hope not.
Yep. The Wool Pot.
We really hope we are.
But we're going off on a tangent. We digress, please. Let's get on the show.
Yes, but obviously Stayers hurdle winner, the Wool Pot, will not run in the attempts. But Henri the second, 3-1 here, Tom, at Sandown. Again, is there anything else in here that could give him a race?
I don't think so. I thought Deep Cape could run a bit better. Maybe he'll have maybe this is his day. He was pretty decent for Henry de Bromhead, and he's sort of been getting better. But I think the 3-1 probably the better of the day, really. I think it's very seldom do you go to Sandown in heavy ground and see horses running through the line and pulling up the hill. Do you know what I mean? They normally stop dead and just go home for absolutely exhausted. This horse hit the line as hard as he did on the first circuit. He did on the second circuit. He did on the first circuit. It's very rare. I used to be a member at Sandown. I was born not far from but I could hear the commentary. I was born in Esher, so I know Sandown like the back of my hand. And very, very few horses run through the line like he did for 3 miles in heavy ground. If he's in the same form, he'll win this. He'll definitely win this. I think £8 is way too lenient. Obviously, he had a claimer on that day. He won't have this tomorrow, but I think it's different. I just think he'll win. I just think he's much better than these. I think Shoot First is a little bit dangerous too at the top because he really liked the soft ground when he won that race at Haydock, and he made a terrible mistake 2 out in the Grade 1 last time, and they did run him in the long walk, was it, at Ascot? So I could see him going well. I really think Henri the second will win this.
Okay, there you go. Well, I think we're all hoping that Henri the second goes close. Then Simon.
Listen, I like Red Dirt Road a lot, to be honest. He won well at Aintree. He's only gone up £5. He was pretty unexposed, very lightly raced, unexposed horse. He actually beat Corbett's Cross in his point-to-point back in the day. I know the owner's an important owner for John Joe and AJ, and I just think he's going to run well. You know, he's a progressive horse. Just quite interesting, Major Fortune, Dan Skelton's blog. He's thinking about this horse, saying he wasn't really. He said he wasn't quite right after his last run, which but they think they've sorted out the problems that caused that poor performance, and they're expecting a lot better. Just looking at the price comparison sites, his price has collapsed everywhere. So maybe that's reacting to his blog, to be fair, but it's definitely been quite well backed, Major Fortune. So those are the two I picked out in what looks like a pretty competitive race.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last race at Sandown that we're going to look at is the 342 contest. 3 miles handicap chase here, 26 grand, and what a combo at the top of the betting. Venetia Williams and David Maxwell with Indoor, although O'Connell's been very well backed. We've got joint favourites at 3-1, Gustavian 11-2, Giolino Bello 13-2, 17-2 Bardos. And we'll quickly go to the man who is always indoors, Tom Segal, with his opinion here for this 342. Very quickly, anything in here you like?
Yeah, I thought Giolino Bello. I mean, if your man is going to have a go at Paul Nicholls last week, Rob, he's going to be on me this week, because I fancy three. Listen, I get O'Connell, I get Indoor. They're both informed horses coming here, won't mind the ground. I just thought Giolino Bello might be a class above. He was a Grade 1 winning hurdler. He was 5-2 to win the Corto Star when he fell over, and obviously he's had problems since, but he ran really well in that Wincanton hurdle on Boxing Day. He was 6th, but he was only just behind horses like Long Draw, who we'd seen hack up at Cheltenham a couple of weeks before. It was a really competitive race. I thought he ran really well. He won't mind the ground. If he can run to any sort of level that he did when he was a younger horse, I think he'd be a different class to these. So I'm willing to take a chance at the prices against the informed pair at the top of the market.
Okay, lovely stuff. The class angle then for Mr. Segal. Favourite back of Robbie Wilder's?
I wrote the preview for this on Thursday, and O'Connell was not 3-1. Let's put it that way. He is now. I looked through this race and thought there's a lot of horses here that are sort of suspect stayers.
Yeah, in the conditions.
In these conditions, yeah. Like, I mean, Sham Blue, not for me. Dreamin' Blue is a son of Showcasing. Just to use that as an example. Eden the Who, he's 11. He normally runs over 2 miles, 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
And Indoor still got a little bit to prove for me in this sort of race. Just think O'Connell, he's on a roll. He won the Lincolnshire National really easily last time.
Yeah.
He is going to stay. The Yard also had an 11-1 and 3-time winner today from 2 runs at Cattrick. Maybe that's factored into the price move. I don't know. But I just think in a race where a few of these might not get home, I respect Giolino Bello because he has got that back class. But I thought O'Connell was just absolutely rock solid with Machine on board because he will hit the line hard.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think he's got a big chance.
Yeah, and the yard out. 27% strike rate of the past few weeks with 7 winners. Simon Clare, very quickly, please.
Hey, listen, I thought, Indoor didn't win a strong race last time. O'Connell's now off, 1-2-4. He looked quite exposed last year off 1-11. I know they're in form, but I thought I'd take a flyer at a big price. Ascari, a 10, who didn't run that badly last time, was a much better horse in his day and does stay. And I think this will be a proper stamina test by this time in the afternoon. So at a big price, I thought Ascari, a 10. We did have one other special. The traders were being quite creative. This was Venetia Williams to train 2 or more winners on ITV tomorrow, 5-1. She has Soul Solution in the race we didn't talk about, 125. That's 9-4 favourite. Martador, who was 11-4. I think he's been on the drift. And Indoor here. So Venetia Williams trained 2 or more winners from her 3 ITV runners, which are all prominent to the betting. That's 5-1.
Okay, lovely stuff. Anisha Williams on a Saturday again. It's always been a good way to go. Right, that's Saturday's show. For the next hour, we're going to be looking at Sunday at Leopardstown, which we could easily be. It is an absolute the best Sunday of the season.
Probably is, mate. Yeah. I don't think I'm around, sadly, but
well, I can't think of another
Sunday
with this.
It's tricky. Normally you get your good stuff on a Saturday and then do anything else on Sunday. But well, we're forced to pay attention to a brilliant day.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at the Novice chase then over 2 miles, 5.5 furlongs. First, Ballyburn 8-11 in Perry Pass, 130 champ. Kylie 5-1. Better Days Ahead 10s, 14-1 bar those. I'm going to go to you, Tom Segal, very quickly first for this one because I think we are in disagreement for this. It's funny your anti-Post Cheltenham views on the races. Every opinion you have, I'm either 100% absolutely behind it, and I couldn't agree more, or I think you're off your rocker and you've lost your mind. There's no middle ground, and that's what's so beautiful. No, but we were saying before that you didn't fancy Ballyburn, and I think that he will win this and go and win it. So, no, I don't mean I just mean sometimes it's funny, isn't it? Sometimes with some people, you all have the same opinions. I 100% agree with you on several of them, but I do think Ballyburn will win this and then win the Brown Advisory.
He could well do. It's just a price thing, isn't it, for me, Ross? Again, I mean,
yeah, fair.
He's very short for both races. I don't think he's a brilliant jumper. I don't think he's jumped very well either occasion. He's undoubtedly got the class, but in Perry Pass isn't bad. I mean, listen, he's the most likely winner. Of course he is. He's an absolute outstanding horse, but it's also got to prove 3 miles. I think the Brown Advisory could be a really good race this year. Obviously, without the 2.5 miler, it's going to be I don't know. I just thought. Listen, he'll probably go and win. If he goes and wins this like he won last year, I'll change my opinion and think you're right. You're spot on. You've done it. You've done it again. But
this is the joy, isn't it? This is the joy.
Yeah. That's exactly it. You pay your money and take your chance. I'm never going to back a horse like him at 8-11 who walked through the last at Kempton last time and finished miles behind. Because I've got a negative against him in my mind now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't be on him. I've written about it not being a horse that I'm really that keen on going forward. So I've always got that negative about it.
Who can beat him on Sunday?
Well, it may be in Perry Pass. The Better Days Ahead I like as a horse. I don't think in terms of ability they can beat him, but I'm not sure he's as bomb-proof as... Listen, after his last run, I don't think you can have the confidence in him that you did before his last run. And so therefore, I'm just going to take him on. I will take him on and I'll be proved wrong probably, but that's fine because he's 8-11 and I don't care.
No, you're right. I'm just. It is the joy. This is the joy of top class national race in particular, is that I do feel like opinions get over jumps. They're a little bit stronger. Sometimes people are like, hey, you fancy him? Well, I fancy him.
Yeah, a bit more passionate.
Yeah. What do you make of this field? What's the one that stands out?
It's a good race. I wouldn't, but I mean the market tells you Ballyburn is the most likely winner, but. Again, I'm definitely not. I don't like taking 8-11 anyway. But I think that run at Kempton was probably not as bad as people might have thought at the time. Sergino is a bit of a generational talent, I think, and he's just a pure 2-miler. Ballyburn is not. He's related to sort of handicap chase, staying handicap chase, like Noble and Devil was running in nationals a few years ago. He's going to be a 3-miler eventually. He needs to settle a bit better. Getting back up to this sort of trip's going to suit. Like to think they'll go a decent pace with all the Mullins horses there to sort of let him sell. Thought Champ Kylie might be kind of interesting. He's a sort of horse that gets underrated. He looked really good in his chasing debut, but let's just leave it. And to be honest, I hope Ballyburton gets beaten for my Django Bay position at Cheltenham.
Yeah, fair enough. Simon, Clare, any opinions in this?
I know, I'm just glad it's a better race. It was a 2-on race last year. It will be a good race with Factor File and Gaelic Warrior, but it's going to be a much more aesthetically pleasing race watching this, some decent staying Novice chasers, and I think Ballyburn will probably win, but he's got to go and do it, and Sergino back will be hoping he wins well to make them feel even better about their Arkle position. So good race to watch.
A little cheeky little smile coming through there. Lovely stuff. Okay, Tim, let's have a quick look at then the Dublin Chase, 2 miles and a furlong here. Gaelic Warrior 4-5, Marine Nationale 7-2, Solness 8-1, El Fabiolo 8-1, Calixios 12-1, 20-1 Captain Guinness 33-1 bar those. Robbie Wilders, we've got previous winners of this. We've got Arkle winners. We've got Triumph Hurdle winners. We've got Supreme Novice winners. We've got Champion Chase winners.
And we've got a bloody awful favourite.
I was going to say none of those horses I was particularly thinking about are Gaelic Warrior, who's 4-5.
Yeah, I don't like him. He gets beaten a lot at short prices. And he's always a short price the next time. He's not for me. I mean, maybe people make too much about this thing about he's better going right-handed. I mean, his best performance was in the Arkle by miles, but the reality is that is a bit of an outlier on his CV, that Arkle performance. A horse like Quilixios, I think, is underestimated here because his actual last 2 RPRs.
Tom's face.
What's Tom saying?
Finally!
We had this with Paul Keeley a few weeks ago, didn't we? The Calixios fight.
Although specifically we said Tom thought Calixios would beat John Bon.
I didn't say that.
I did. Hang on, he's not the only one.
Ross Brierley.
You tipped him to beat him.
I did as well, mate.
I didn't think he would beat him. It's a price thing. You've got to work that out.
All right.
I tipped him. I thought he would. Well, I didn't, obviously. That's ridiculous. But I do think that he should not be 12-1 here.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Like I agree. Marine Nationale's price is almost even more absurd to me.
Yeah.
He beat him so easily, and now he's 2 starts back on worse terms.
Yeah.
And that Tingle Creek form has obviously worked out pretty well with John Bon winning the Clarence House, Solness come out and beat these.
Yeah.
He's the wrong price, but shall I pass over to you? Or
I mean, the real wrong price here is El Fabiolo, isn't it?
Yes.
He's got. I mean, look. How can you be 2-9 for a Champion Chase one year and then 8-1 for this the next year? And the only run you've had in between those two was better than everything else in here could do anyway when finishing second to John Bon at Sandown.
Yeah. Yep.
Look, there's a possibility that but he gets outpaced and they go for the Ryanair perhaps, but he's won every single one of his seasonal reappearances. He's bolted up twice on his 2 starts at the Dublin Racing Festival. He beat Ballyburn 10 lengths over course and distance, for God's sake. JJ Slevin was on Solness when he beat Gaelic Warrior. I mean, personally, if you 8-1 seems daft, but again, he could win. This would be 5-2 second favourite of the Champion Chase after it. But
it looks like he's just been clipped to
cut
7.
Listen, there's no way that they're going to run that horse. You know, he's going to be ready to run, isn't he? I mean, you're not going to go there sort of half cocked. And Willie Mullins in his Sporting Life blog, he doesn't say an awful lot, to be honest, but he doesn't give you any discouragement. He doesn't come out with one of those lines saying, "Oh, we'll need it" or anything. So I just thought he was the wrong price as well. I thought each way against horses you feel get beat a lot and are underpriced, he's looked probably the one to play for me. But
do you know what I hate, Si? Do you know what I hate? And it's not Reading selling their only striker to Wrexham for $2 million the day before transfer deadline day. It's not that, although that is annoying as well. It's hoods. And especially hoods.
You're wearing a hoodie right now.
When they throw a tongue tie on as well.
Yeah.
Gaelic Warriors not only got the hood on, which he always has, but they put a tongue tie on him as well, which makes me think that there's something. They can't be happy with him.
Yeah.
Can they?
I'm just trying to.
They think they've got a problem to solve, basically, haven't they? Which is always a worry, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I would improve in my. I'm setting the chat up here.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely setting the people in the chat. Would I get better at my job?
What's going on there?
If I couldn't hear and I couldn't speak, if I could, look, he's clearly
got issues, isn't he?
You're talking about me or the horse, but yeah, fair enough. Look.
El Fabiolo is a 1.5 stone better than Marine Nationale.
Yeah, look,
and he's double the price.
I also quite like the fact that we haven't seen him since. I mean, remember when the past few seasons, he doesn't get going until sort of January, February, March anyway. But
I love the fact, is he actually gone 7-1 now? He went
7-1 halfway through, maybe making a case for it.
Your sentence.
Finally, I'm the influence
I mean,
that I deserve. Oh, Tom Segal, what do you make of this? Apart from surely a 4 to 5 shot with a hood on, you're going to be taking him on.
I'm going to be taking him on. Obviously, El Fabiolo, if he's right, has got a very, very good chance, hasn't he? Simple as that. I think he's probably the best horse in the race. And it just depends on his well-being. They were very negative about him turning up literally a week and a half ago, but he's here. So they can't, as the boys said, I can't believe they're turning up in a Grade 1 for a run around. I think he's probably fine, and I think he's probably the wrong price. I haven't totally given up on Marine National being a Grade 1 horse still. Wasn't far behind Gaelic Warrior last time, and Solness did beat them both. But I think the ground will be a lot softer this time. So, like the boys said, I think the wrong price is El Fabiolo without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, and one more race to rattle through. Then it's the Irish Champion Hurdle. Lossiemouth taking on Stateman for the first time, which is going to be exciting stuff. Lossiemouth 8-13, Stateman 13-8 and 16-1. Bar those. Tom. That's my intro to you.
Paul Townend's riding Stateman, isn't he? And that is interesting in itself. But I'm not actually that surprised because it's his baby, isn't it? Stateman's his horse, isn't it? He's always right. He's always talking about Stateman. He's won so many races on Stateman that you're not surprised that he rides him. I think if I was in his situation, I'd probably ride Stateman as well, just because he's officially the better horse. He's won a champion hurdle. If you ride the other one and Stateman wins, you feel a bit of a dummy, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas if the other way round, it's not so bad. He can get on Lossiemouth next time. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised he rides Stateman. I think Lossiemouth will win.
Okay. Robbie Wilder's in a sentence.
Don't be put off by Townend riding Stateman. No, hang on. That's not where I was going. Lossiemouth wins.
Yeah, fair enough. I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, don't be swayed.
Come out. You pressured me.
I know. Fair enough. We need to get you a tongue tie. Simon Clare, Lossiemouth versus Stateman. Which side do you want?
I mean, I think Stateman. I think he wasn't his running last time because Winter Fog beat him, and he beat Winter Fog miles the time before when he was just behind Brian Ted's head. So we know that wasn't his running. But can you put that behind him and go back to his best? He's won this race the last 2 times. I'll be swayed by Paul Townend riding Stateman. I just think that it could be that Stateman does emerge as the main rival to Constitution Hill in the Champion Hurdle, as he was, prior to Christmas. But so I'll probably be in Stateman's camp, but I don't think I'll be backing him. I'll just be watching him and rooting for him because I've said it on this show.
Thank you very much. Okay, right.
Maybe Ross. Who do you reckon? Lossiemouth or Stateman?
Here's an advert.
Yeah, you would.
We're into the final bend of the Coral Fan Derby, where racing lovers of the UK are in a spectacular contest. And watch this, he's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized maraca. They're all getting rewards now. He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free Coral Rewards Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
Look, to be honest with you, Tom, I'm in agreement with you in the sense you can't back Stateman after those 2 runs. So I'm with Lossiemouth. For the first time ever, I actually quite fancy you for a race. There you go. But only because you called me a wuss. You did the old playground tactics. You really, you can't. You just have to then, don't you? Right, okay. Naps over the weekend then. Cracking racing ahead of us. What are the best bets, Robbie?
Paul Nicholls, you're going to have some fun on Saturday. 3-7, Henri the Second.
All right.
At Sandown.
Henri the Second, just to wind up the Twitterati. Tom Segal?
I'm going to take on that ridiculous meeting of the waters that is officially £40 well in or whatever in that handicap hurdle thing, and I'm going to take him on with Percival Legalois, who I thought was incredibly impressive in the Paddy Power Chase last time, and I think he'll storm home and get and win that race.
All right, Percival Legelois then to win the 225 at Leopardstown. Simon Clare?
I'm going to go for Calais du Burley for a nice story in the Sandown race in the John Hells colours. And remember, we've got Pipped to the Post on all ITV races tomorrow and Sunday.
Okay, and I'm going to nap Ilat Lantique to Pip Majborough to the post there in the Irish Arkle. Look, I think Majborough will be a better horse in time, but it's all about the race on the day, isn't it? Right, thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, and we've had a couple of calls. We haven't seen Paul Keeley for a while, but don't worry, if you get up early tomorrow morning, you'll see him. And he'll be back on Monday, Simon, because the Cheltenham preview in the nose start in earnest. So it's every Monday for the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I don't know.
Are you in on Monday? Ross, are you doing it?
I'm doing it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, good. See you on Monday. Nice little trip down on the train again.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely stuff. I'll see you there. One day you might come in and meet me for a pint.
Don't have a chance.
No.
All right. Right then. Lovely stuff. Enjoy the weekend. Goodbye.
Bye.